Hi everyone, Armoured Pants here, and I have another video for you, and this one is in the Chinese line. It's the tank destroyer line. We're going to look at the Tier 6. As always, we're going to have a look at the tech spec first, and we are going to use blitzhanger.com to do that. Now, this tank line is not played so much. It's a bit unusual, but it has some good tanks in it, so we're going to have a look at them all the way through from 6 to 10. Starting off with WZ-131G FT, a name that just rolls off the tongue. Now, in terms of provisions, view range is not great, so you may want to go for the protective kit instead. It's not going to make too much difference. You've got two gun options. You've got an 85mm and a 100mm. And actually both kind of have different play styles attached, and we'll have a look at that in a second. 85mm makes it a bit like the Jagdpanzer IV in terms of its gameplay, and it's got a 4.2 second reload. 100mm gun gives you more punch, 180mm of pen, and 280 damage points. APCR gives you 241mm of pen on a 100mm gun and 240 plus damage points, so packs a bit of punch for Tier 6. 50mm of pen with HE, which is really good. It's going to give you 350 plus of damage points. When you consider a Tier 6 to 50mm of pen is going to go through all light tanks and a lot of medium tanks. Muzzle velocity is 900 meters per second. HE has the same as AP. If you supercharge that, it goes up to 1170 meters per second. APCR has higher muzzle velocity, 1125 meters per second. Supercharge takes that up to 1463 meters per second, which is quite good for a Tier 6. Makes it quite fast shell firing, and covers distance and gives you that extra bit of pen as well. As we know, muzzle velocity is squared in the formula for armor penetrations, therefore has an exponential effect on your ability to pen, which is why I generally always use a supercharge, and I would recommend that you try it too. Now, as you said, there's two guns. There's a 100mm gun and a 85mm gun, and because this tank is fast and mobile, does 45 kilometers an hour, 18 in reverse, it means that you have a couple of options with this. It also has excellent power to weight ratio, which means it's really mobile. It also has really good traverse. So therefore you can play this tank as a traditional TD, adopting a sniping position, inflicting damage, farming damage on the enemy. Or you can actually go and support your meds, play it as a medium, because like the Jagdpanzer IV, and if you see my review of that, you can do the same in that. It really gets around the map very well. Concealment numbers in this are really good, but only when you're still, so take note. Don't turn your tracks if you don't have to. Use the mini-map to spot the enemy rather than moving your tracks. You can see here that when we look at the concealment numbers, even if you take it up to, let's say, a light tank or medium tank view range at Tier 6, the concealment numbers are still pretty good. Now, looking at the armor profile, well, it doesn't have any. So that makes this tank difficult to play. You can see here there's almost no angles. You're going to get penned all the time. Doesn't really have too much gun depression either. It's only 5 degrees. When you consider that this tank was designed by the Chinese for fighting in the Chinese mountains, it doesn't really make any sense. It doesn't have any gun depression, right? It seems a very odd design flaw in something that you're designed to fight in hilly terrain. But nonetheless, it is what it is, and in Blitz it means that you're not really going to get your gun down at any sort of angle at all. So if you are sniping, you need to have a flat trajectory, or to fire up at the enemy. Firing down is not going to work for you. Now you can see here that there is absolutely no armor on this, so I would run 2 repair kits because you do not want to get tracked out in the open. If you're up tiered, there's going to be big guns like the SU-152 that can single shot you, and even in your own tier, Digger Max, Snashhorn, these big guns can really hurt you. SU-100 all can one shot you. They're going to hit you with HE, they're going to pen you, so be careful, do not get stuck out in the open in this thing. Now, in terms of tactics, as I said, you can play this tank as a traditional TD, and if you're doing that, I'd recommend using the bigger gun. Find sniping spots, sit behind your teammates and farm damage. However, you can also play it when you're more experienced with this tank as a medium support vehicle, because it's so fast you can keep up with your meds. Then I would use the lighter gun, the 85mm. It makes it faster, gives it better traverse, And the 4.2-second reload gives an amazing DPM. If you get into a brawl in this thing, if you're supporting your meds and drop adrenaline, you can just farm damage on this thing. But I wouldn't do that at the start. I would get more comfortable with it as a traditional TD first. Then when you're happy with this tank, you feel comfortable, you're good with the gameplay, you can drop down to the lower gun and try out as a medium support vehicle. So we've got two games. The first one we're going to play is a medium support. It's Himmeldorf Supremacy, and there's a Radley Walters medal coming up. And this game is going to show you just how effective this tank can be as a medium support tank. So going hell for leather, supporting your meds. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go right and I'm going to go to D, and I'm just going to go for it. You know, I've been playing this tank now, I think, for maybe 30-40 games at this stage. Really felt comfortable with it, really felt comfortable with the handling. I'm just going for it. Now, I don't have the view range of the meds or whatever, so I know that there's a good chance that I'm going to come up against the enemy first. But as I'm top tier, I'm not that afraid. I know I'm going to be able to out DPM anybody I come to, so I'm going to go capture this base first. And I'm just going to go for it. Yeah, I take a lot of damage in this, but that's because there really is no armor on it. But the DPM on it is just awesome, and you'll see when I drop adrenaline, I just pummel the enemy. Now you can see here, I don't want to pop out because there's two big guns there, so I'm not being that stupid. But now look at this, bam, and just look at this reload. I'm already reloaded again. I'll put another one into him there, and then we clear him off. So with the help of my allies, we're just going to clear this entire flank here. Save adrenaline. I'm going to pop in here, pop another one into him. There we go. Take one there, but I'm going to clear off this Strab as well. There we go. So there we go. There's two tanks down, and we are just over a minute gone into this game. I'm going to pop around here and take one for my troubles. I didn't see the Sherman Firefly there. Take another one here, but bam, clear them off. And this is just full out assault. This is no real nuance or subtlety to this gameplay. This is just going hell for leather, but this is great fun, right? Just here, I get up behind this guy and he has no chance of dropping the adrenaline. Just look at how much damage I'm putting into him. Look at how fast the reload is. Bam, 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 clear them off. So there we go. They are 4 tanks down, and we are not even 2 minutes into this game. And that is just, it's really just kind of blitzkrieg. It's just lightning warfare. And as I said, it reminds me really, getting too carried away here, drive straight into the mound of gravel, but it really reminds me of the Jagdpanzer IV. And if you remember my review of that tank, I just played as a medium tank. I just went hell for leather, supported my meds, and just clearing off. Switch up to HE, bam, clear off the Nashorn. There we are, 4 kills, only 2.5 minutes gone, and 1 tank down. We just blitz these guys, blitz by name, blitz by nature, and you know, that's the power of this tank. And also when you're top tier and your teammates see you moving and playing with the aggression that I've shown here in this tank, it inspires them with confidence too. You see my team followed me and we really just pummeled the enemy. So here we are, we're not even 3 minutes into this game and we've cleared them all off. Just speed it up here, just have a look at this. This is just Blitz, maybe as Blitz should be played, just blitzing the Blitz out of Blitz, right? I mean, we're just pummeling the enemy here. As I said, less than 3 minutes of gameplay and it's all over. Convincing victory, Radley Walters medal. Not huge damage, less than 1.5k, but you know, you can see top damage from my team, both XP and damage, 5 kills. And that's kind of what you can do in this tank once you're comfortable with it. But look guys, I wouldn't recommend you do this at the start, because this is a very difficult tank to play. You know, it has no armor, it has no turret, so you know, you need to get comfortable with it first. So I would recommend this as a tactic once you're very comfortable with the tank. But it's a really fun option to play after maybe you've played 50 or 100 games, you're comfortable with it. Drop down, load the 85mm gun and just go for it and have a bit of fun, because that's what Blitz is about. It's about having fun, right? It is a game at the end of the day, which far too many people lose sight of. Now we have another game here. This is a mastery game. And this is more traditional TD role. So, sorry, I forgot to record the start, but you didn't miss anything other than me coming into position here. This is the traditional TD gameplay, right? So I'm on a 100mm gun, so I'm going to be doing 300 to 400 alpha rolls each time. You can see that even the reload on the 100mm gun is not that much, just over 6 seconds. Dropped adrenaline here, so I'm getting it down closer to 6 seconds. And you know, the 100mm gun is better for sniping, because at sniping you need to make each shot count. You want to be doing, you're not always going to have multiple opportunities to shoot, so you need to make your shots count. So therefore the larger gun with the higher damage point hits is more advantageous. Another thing is, of course, that you're slightly less mobile with the heavier gun, but you know, you don't need to be mobile, because you're sitting here. I am sniping, right? So I'm sitting in this position like this, and you can see here though the extra pen on the bigger gun. Slow it down here. You can see straight into the bottom plate. Pens him, no problem, takes him out. So now, with every mastery game you need a bit of luck, and I really don't know why this guy just decided to drive right in front of me. Why you would drive right in front of a 100mm gun like that, I really don't know. I'm not complaining. I've switched up to HE, put one right into the back of the Dick Max there. Huge alpha roll for tier 6. Switching back to AP now, because I wasn't sure about my shot selection, so I wanted to make sure I penned. Been spotted, roll back, take cover. I've conserved my my hit points, so I've still got full hit points. And we're tank up, so slight advantage, and I'm just going to see what's happening. Now, see, I'm probably going to take one here, which I do, but I smash one into him. And I have a faster reload than him, even with my bigger gun. Clear him off. Allies clear him off, and okay, I lost some damage, some hit points, but that's the thing about conserving your hit points when you're sniping. When you're in a concealed position, then you can afford to trade some hit points later on. Now I'm just going to move. So if you remember our sniping guide, at point, so the difference between sniping and camping, well, a good definition is sniping is when you're in a stationary position, but you've got multiple targets that you can fire at. Camping is when you're in a stationary position and you have no targets to fire at, right? So now I have no targets left, cleared off that KV, and now I'm moving. And this is what you should do. This is good decision making within the game. You realize there's no targets in front, so now you need to get active. You can see how fast the tank is, even with the 100mm gun. Not quite as fast as we saw in the previous video, but it's fast enough. Gonna come in here, get some extra XP for capture points. We don't find the last guy. We've won it. We're gonna win on this on points now. As you can see, 3 kills. I think there's a significant carry from him in this game as well, and delivers a mastery badge. There we are, over 3k damage, and just over 1000 XP delivered a mastery badge. Sometimes, I mean, I've gotten more in this tank and not gotten it. Just depends on the week and who else is playing and stuff like that. But as we always said though, XP is what delivers mastery badges, not necessarily damage. But an example of if you're running a 100mm gun and you want to play as a traditional TD, that's a good example of how to play with that loadout, the 100mm gun, and the more traditional sniping TD support position. This is what I would recommend for you to start with if you're starting this line. Get comfortable with it. And then later on, if you want a bit of fun, load up the 85mm gun and go for it and see what you can do. So let's have a quick recap. Let us be joined by a very classy goth girl. Let's call her Frau Schwartz, and let's see what she has to say. So she's telling us this is a fast mobile TD, but it has no real armour, so take note of that. Another thing I would say is there's no shame in struggling with this tank, especially if you haven't played TDs before. And this is the first in the line. It's not easy, right? Because it has no armor, has no turrets, so there's no shame in struggling with that to start. So don't worry if it takes you time to adapt. When you're starting, play safe, do typical TD play, supporting from sniping positions. If you want to know what that is, look at the TD guide we have on channel, look at the sniping guide we have on channel. 2 gun types, as we said, both good options, both different game styles, I would say. 100mm is better for sniping, better for your traditional TD play, larger alpha rolls, and every shot counts more. The reload is good. It's at just 6.7 seconds, which is great for a 100mm gun that does a lot of damage. And when you drop adrenaline, that's down to just over 6 seconds. I would use supercharge to max out the muzzle velocity, and I'd use refined gun to reduce dispersion, which is dispersed energy as the shell exits, and therefore you're losing potential energy into kinetic energy. Sorry for the physics lesson. Has no real gun depression, only 5 degrees. As I said, it's kind of odd given its design. And concealment numbers when still are good. Moving your tracks breaks camo, so I would recommend to use the mini map to spot the enemy rather than moving your tank. As we said, it has no armour, so at the beginning sit back and snipe, especially when new to this tank. You need your team to help because you're vulnerable, so you need your team, you need your lights and your meds to spot up for you, because if they don't, it's very difficult for you to play a TD well. Not just this one, but any TD. You're going to be a HE magnet, and HE doesn't bounce, right, as we know, because you've no real armour. So beware of those big guns, and if you're spotted, drop into a safe position, because you do need to keep safe. And as we said at the start, play from behind your teammates. Don't go YOLO as I did in the first game until you're experienced. But then of course you can support your meds, and I would use the 85mm gun with its 4.2 second reload, which is cool, and that drops to about 3.9 when if you drop adrenaline. The music was Puccini Turandot, which is of course is Puccini's Chinese masterpiece, and the music is the overture from Turandot and Signora Ascolta, sung by the late, great and amazing Maria Callas. So cheers Mush, I hope you enjoyed it, I hope you found it useful, and I guess all that remains for me and Frau Schwarz to say is pants off.